Dear student, today's class we are learning about microbial diseases. The important plant diseases include downy mildew, ergot rust, bacterial leaf blight and TMV, that is tobacco mosaic virus. So let us begin with plant diseases. So what is plant disease? Plant disease is an impairment of normal state of a plant that interrupts or modify its vital functions. A plant disease can also be defined as any problem with the plant that leads to reduction in yield or appearance. Many plant diseases are caused by pathogens. The disease-causing agents are called as pathogens. A plant may be said to be diseased when there is a harmful deviation from normal functioning of physical processes. Plant diseases is an impairment of normal stage. Normal function is not be done in a infected plant, so it is called as a plant diseases. Downy mildew. So let us start with the downy mildew syndrome or diseases. Downy mildews can spoil the appearance of ornamental plants and affect the yield and quality of edible crops. Downy mildews can spoil the ornamental plants, which affects the yield and the quality of the edible crops. The control depends on cultural technique, as no effective fungicides are available to MHU gardens. Controls can be depend on the cultural techniques because there is no effective fungicides are found. It is caused by fungus like oomycete. It causes mainly during summer and autumn, particularly in a wet condition. Downy mildew disease is caused mainly by the fungus and causes during the summer and autumn, particularly in a wet condition. The scientific name has various, mainly species of Peronospora, Plasmospora and Bremia. Downy mildew or Plasmospora veticola affects many plants and their appearance as yellow to white. Downy mildew affects many of the ornamental plants, which appears as a yellow to white patches on the upper surface of the older leaves. On the other side, these areas are covered with white to greyish cotton-like fungi. In the lower surface of the leaves, we can find the white to greyish cotton-like fungi. These downy masses are most often noticed after rain or heavy dew and disappear soon after sunny weather resumes. Downy mildew syndromes or diseases masses. Downy masses, that means the white patches, are most often noticed after the rain or heavy dew and it disappears after sunny weather appears. As the disease progresses, leaves many eventually turn crisp and brown and fall even though the plant has ample water. As the diseases goes on progress, leaves may be eventually turn into crisp and brown color and fall off even though there is a more or excess of water is present. Downy mildew occurs in a cool, moist weather, usually in the early spring or late fall. Spore production is favored by temperature cooler than 65 degree. Spores production is usually formed during the temperature cooler than the 65 degree and by relatively humidities approaching 100%. This disease overwinters on plant debris and in the soil. Fungal spores can be carried by insects, wind, rain or garden tools. These spores are carried by insects, wind, rain or garden tools. So how can be treated downy mildew? The treatments are: the best way to prevent downy mildew is to avoid the environmental conditions that favors the diseases. The best way is to prevent downy mildew is controlling the environmental conditions which favors the plant disease. Prune or stake plants and remove any weeds to improve air circulation. Water in the early morning hours or use use a soaker hose to give the plants time dry out during the day. Keep the ground and the infected plants clean during the fall and winter to prevent the diseases from spreading. Keep the ground clean when the plant leaves are fall down to the ground, and winter to prevent the disease from spreading. Remove and destroy any plants with serious infection. Remove the infected plants. Choose resistant varieties whenever possible. Downy mildew is comparatively easy to control on moist when the foliage and fruit are kept protected by a copper spray. Begin treatment 2 weeks before disease normally appears or when weather forecasts predict a long period of wet weather. Begin the treatment 2 weeks before the serious infection appears. Alternatively, begin treatment when disease first appears and repeat at 7 to 10 days intervals for as longer needed. Repeat the treatment for 7 to 10 days intervals before the disease appears. And this is about the downy mildew.